Hello everyone, welcome to the seventh lecture of the Python programming series. In today's lecture, we will learn about functions in Python. So let's start our lecture. So the learning objectives for this lecture are mentioned here. So you will be able to understand what are functions and why we use them, how to create and call functions, how to pass arguments to functions, and you will be able to understand parameters and arguments, and you will understand how to return values using return, and how to use default arguments, keyword arguments. You will understand local global scope, and we will also learn about anonymous functions, also known as lambda functions, and we will also learn recursion, and we will build some programs using functions. So let us start with the recap of the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we learned about while loop, for loop, range, nested loops, break, continue, and pass. So imagine you want to calculate the area of rectangle 100 times. You need to write the code for you need to write the code to calculate area of rectangle 100 times in the program. How you can do that? You don't Without functions you have to write the logic of the area. To find area, you need to write the logic 100 times in the code, but you can use the convenient method. That's why functions are there. So what is a function? A function is a reusable block of code that performs a specific task. So instead of writing the same code again and again, we write it once and call it whenever needed. So this is what function is. What is function? It is a reusable block of code. So it is a block of code that we can reuse whenever we want. We can call it and use the statements. Whatever statements are written inside that, we can use that. So here are some real life examples as well. Remote control buttons, calculator functions, washing machine modes, mobile phone apps. Each performs one specific task. Similarly, every function should perform one specific job. So this is what function is. So what are the advantages of using functions? The first example is The first example of using functions is code reusability. Code reusability means you have to write the code once and you can use it multiple times. This is what code reusability means. So the second advantage is easy maintenance. If the logic changes, change it only once. If you want to change the logic in future, so you have to change at one place only. You do not need to change everywhere. So this is what easy maintenance means. Next one is better readability. Programs become organized. If you create one function for one specific task, the program's readability increases. It helps the developer to understand what it is written and how the program is working. And its another advantage is less repetition. Obviously, if you write the code, the logic in a function and calls it it avoids the repetition of the same logic again and again, and it helps in modular programming. What does modular programming means? Modular means to make a segment of a big problem. Like for example, we are having in YouTube, we are having home screen, we are having subscriptions, we are having library, and like that we are having short section. So each one is known as a module. This is what modular programming is, that you have to keep the code into modules so that it becomes easy to maintain, to debug, and all the things. Now, there are some built-in functions also in Python. For example, we are having print. In the start, for the first function which we have used in the starting was print. So print is a inbuilt function. Input is the inbuilt function. Also length, len, type, max, min, sum, round, ABS. So I will explain in a brief. You know what is print, you know what is input, you know LE and length function, you know type method. I have explained these earlier. Now coming to max. So I will copy this and explain you in notes. So coming here, what is the use of max function? It returns it returns the greatest number from 2. What is the use of min function? It returns the minimum number, the less number, the smaller number from the two numbers. What is use of sum? It adds the numbers. What is use of round? It round off the values. For example, if you are having 5.6, so what will happen? It will return 6 as the integer. It will return an integer. If you give a float value, it will return an integer to the nearest integer. For example, if you are having 5.4, it will return 5. If you are having 5.6, it will return 6. The normal mathematical round operation. So the next we are having ABS. ABS is used to make any value positive. For example, if we give the value as minus 5.76, we give this to ABS function. So what it will return? It will return 5.76. So this is the simple definition of ABS, that it will return, it will convert negative number to positive. If you give positive, if you give 5.76 only, it will give 5.76 only, it will not change. But if the sign is negative, it will it will delete the negative sign and give you a positive value. So this is the use of ABS function. So now you know what are these functions used for. So the next thing which we are having is, now we will create a round function. You have seen some inbuilt functions. Now let's see how we can create a round function. So what is the syntax of it? This is the syntax to create a function. So here what we need to do is, we need to write def means definition. So we will write the keyword def. After that, we will write the function name, whatever name you want to assign to function. You can write, like you write the names of variables, you can write the name of the function as well. So any name you can write here. Let's say we write, let's say we write function on func we have written, and after that you have to put parentheses and then colon, and that's done. Now you can write your logic here inside it by giving a tab space, uh, up to, you can give. So this is the basic definition, the basic creation of the function. So let's see, we are having one example here. We have used def keyword. After that we have written a function name greet, and we have written print welcome to Python. I will copy this code. I will open VS Code. So I will create a new folder over here. I will name it as lecture underscore 07, and inside this folder I will create a new file. I will name it as function.py. So now I will paste the code here. So now you can see here our code is there. So now we are having our code. Now see here, we have created a function. Let's see how it runs. I run it and it prints nothing. So why it happens? Because we have just created a function. Writing def, then function name, then the logic means to just create a function. It will not execute until and unless you will not call it. Now what is calling a function means? So as it is written here, nothing happens yet. So creating a function is a different from executing it. We have not executed the function, we have just created it. Now we have to call a function to make it executable. So we have written up till here. Now we have to write the function name and parentheses to call it. This means the function is calling. We are telling the compiler to go to this function and execute it. Meaning of this is, we are telling the compiler to go to the function greet and execute whatever is written inside the function. This is the simple meaning of calling a function. So in VS Code, after writing the function, we will come outside the function and we will write greet, the function name, and then parentheses. So when we run this, we got the output as welcome to Python. So this line is executed. So this is how you can execute. So this is how you can execute a function or call a function. So it is written over here that def creates the function and the function name calls the function. So this is the basic, very basic thing you need to understand. And now let us move to parameters and arguments. So what does parameters and arguments mean? So this is one of the most important concepts that you should understand very carefully. Like we are having example here, we are having a function definition here def greet. After that, in the parentheses, one variable is given, and after that, what we are doing is we are printing hello, comma that variable which is given here. So first so mhm, cut off. So I will copy this code. Sorry. So I will copy this code and then go to the notes here. I will paste it and now just see what is happening over here. So we are having this code. Now what is happening? Def is used for the creation. We have given a function name as well. But earlier, what we have done, we are using simple parentheses. We are not writing anything inside it. But now what is happening? We have written one variable name inside it. So what does this mean? We will see that what is it is called and what does this mean. But for now, just understand the logic. We have given one variable name inside the function definition inside the parentheses, and after that we have written the logic print, and we have written one string hello, then comma for addition, and then we have written the name. So are we are fetching the value of this variable here. So we want that the value of the variable name should be printed after hello. And when I call the function, I call it, I write the function name greet, and then instead of writing like this, instead of writing simple greet and and parentheses, instead of writing simple greet and parentheses, I have given current a string here into the parentheses. So inside the parentheses, I have given one string here. So how it will execute? How it will execute? Let us see here. Now, what is a parameter and what is argument? First, we will execute this and then we will see the difference between the both. So I will copy this code, come to VS Code. I will create one new file, parameters arguments.py, and I will paste the code here and run this. We got hello Karan. So how it is executing? We have given one string here, we have given one variable here, and that variable is written over here in the logic, and the value which the variable is getting is from the function calling. So what is argument here? What is parameter here? So let's see here. Parameter means parameter means the placeholder and argument means actual value. You can simply understand by this that whatever you write in the function definition, whatever you write in the function definition, function parameter, function. So this is the simple meaning of what is parameter and what is argument. So whatever you write in the function definition means whatever you write here, whatever is written over here inside the bracket, this is known as function definition, and whatever you write this inside the brackets, this is known as parameter. And argument means function calling. Whatever is written in function calling, whenever you call a function, whatever you write inside it, it is known as, so it is known as argument. So now understand here that a function can have multiple parameters and multiple arguments as well. So if we want to make a function of def student, we created a function with the function name as student, and then we give three parameters here: name, age, city. And after that we are printing all three. And when we call with the function name, and we give here name Rahul, age 20, city Delhi. So what is happening? Rahul will be assigned to the variable name, age will be 20 will be assigned to the variable age, Delhi will be assigned to the variable city, and these three will be printed in the three lines. So let us execute and see how it is running. I will come to VS Code. I will comment out the old code and I will paste it here. And when I run this, so see here, it is printing as it is, as I have said. So how it is working, how it is running, I will explain you. So this is our code. So what is happening over here? We have created a function with the function name as student, and after that we gave three parameters. First one is name, second one is age, and the third one is city. And we are just printing it. We are printing the variables. The values will be given at the runtime. So not the runtime, but in the calling part. So whenever we call a function, we call it with the function name, and after that we give the values, the arguments. These are the parameters. You can give as many as parameters you want. And when the function is called, when the function is called, you have to give the arguments. The number of parameters you give and the number of arguments you give should be same. Otherwise, it will give one. Otherwise, it will give an error. So see here, if I go to VS Code and remove Delhi from here, let's say I delete this, and if I run this, it dropped the error here. Why? What error it gave? It gave a type error. Student missing one required positional argument. So one argument it is missing. It is saying that one argument it is missing. So this is the argument which it is missing. So you have to make sure that the number of parameters and the number of arguments should be same for the safe execution of the code. After that, we are having a return statement. So what does return statement means? Functions don't always print. We don't use functions to just print the values. They have to return values also. We use functions to do calculations, to do some operations, and after that we need the return of that. So we need some return of the calculation or the any logic. For example, we are having a function to add two numbers. So we need the sum after the calculation. So we created a function add with the parameters a comma b. They gave two parameters a and b, and what we are returning, we use the keyword return. After that, we have written our logic directly return a plus b. So what it will return? Return means to hand over something when it is called. So when we call the function over here, we are storing the result. So we are just calling the function, and when the function is, so we are storing the result in the variable result, and we are calling the function here. So we are calling the function with the values 10 comma 20. So what will happen? See here, let us execute this. I will comment out the old code over here. I will comment out this. After that, I will paste this new code, and let's run this. So we are getting 30 as the result. What we have given? We have given 10 and 20 in the arguments. and we got the result of 10 plus 20 is 30. So our code is working fine. So what is happening here? How it is working? How it is running? So see here, what is happening? We have just created a function with the parameters a and b. After that, what we are doing? We are using return keyword. What does return keyword do? It returns the value. What is value here? A plus b. It is returning. So it will do what it will do. It will just add a and b. It will sum it, and after that it will return wherever it is called. So we are calling it here, and it will just imagine in place of this we will get this. So what is this? A plus b. For the time, just imagine this is 30. So you can't simply write 30 over here. You need to assign this value to some variable. One thing is this. The other thing is you can simply, if you don't want to assign it to any variable, you can simply write print, and after that write this part, add, and whatever you want to write, whatever you want to, whatever you, the values you want to give, you can give, and after that you can simply write this, and this line will cut off, and this will also cut off. Instead of result, you can write this inside this. So this is another thing. But if you want a variable, but if you want a variable, then what will happen here is you need to write this logic, this calling part. So you have to call a function and assign it to a variable. Assign the value, assign the return value of this function to a variable, and after that print that variable. According to the program, you can use that. So that's why we got 30 as the result. I hope you understand what is the difference between print and return. Print just prints whatever you write inside it to the console, but return returns the value to a variable. Sorry, return returns the value of the function to a variable or whenever it is called. So it is also possible in Python that we can return multiple values. So Python allows returning multiple values. For example, we are having def calculate a comma v. So we are having a function calculate in which we are giving parameters as a comma b. AB are the parameters, and what we are returning? We are returning the sum of AB and the subtraction of AB. A plus B and A minus B we are returning. So you can write like this: sum underscore result or any variable name, comma, again a variable name, and after that call the function, give the values, and it will return the values to these variables. So when you print this, you will get the desired outputs. So the first one is a plus b. So a plus will be assigned to the first variable, that is sum result. After that there is a minus b. A minus b will be assigned to the second variable. So the assigning of values will happen respectively according to the positions of the return statement. So whatever the sequence you write here, it will return the values in that sequence only. So if I copy this function, I copy this code, I will just comment out the old code and paste it here and run this. So we are getting 30 and 10. So what we are doing? Firstly, we are adding both numbers. We are having 20 and 10. So when we add, we get 30 as the output. And the second thing is we are having 10. And the second thing is we are having a minus b. So a minus b means 20 minus 10, so we get 10. So that's why we got 30 and 10 as the output. So now the next concept is default arguments. So what does default arguments mean? Default argument means we set the parameter to some specific value. So in this case, we are having one parameter name, and we have assigned a argument, we have assigned a value to a parameter in the function creation only. In the function definition, we have assigned the value of the parameter. So this is known as default arguments. So what is the use of default arguments? So in the calling part, if we don't want that, so what is the use of default value? So the use of this is, so in the calling, if we don't give any values, for example, we write the function name, after that we just put parentheses, we just call the function without giving any argument. So whenever we don't give any argument, the default argument will be taken. But when we give some argument here, that value will be taken. So I will come to BS code and just show you how it will happen, how it is happening. I will comment it out, paste it here. So now see here, this is our function. We have just created a function, then there is one parameter name. We just did is we just put equal to and then value. Just we do in the variables, we just write that here. After that we are just printing hello comma name. So let's see what is happening. Whenever I call this function, sorry, whenever I call this function without any argument, it will print hello student because student is the default value. But when I give any value here, let's say I give my name here. So when I give any value here, it will take that value. So default argument just means that if we don't give any value in the calling part, we don't give any arguments, so the default argument will be taken. But otherwise, if we want to give something, that value will be taken. So this is what default argument means. So the same is mentioned here. If we call like this, we will get the output as this. And if we give the calling the name, my name I have given, so the output will be this one. So why the default values are useful, I have also explained that whenever we want that the error should not come whenever we call the function without the argument, so the default functions are used, so the default arguments are used. Now, the next thing is what are keyword arguments. So, normally we write like student, after that we give the arguments. But the keyword argument means we firstly give the parameter name, then the value. Parameter name equals to then the value. So, we don't have to maintain the order. So, I will come here. I will just, in this function only, let's do some changes and make it for the keyword arguments. I will just erase this and delete this. Say name. So I will comment it out and I will write a new function. I will comment it out. I will write a new function. I will say def student. After that, I will say name comma age. I will take us. I will not take any big example. I will start with a smaller one. I will create a function. After that, I will just print name, and after that, just print age. So this is my simple function with the function name student. It takes name and age from the user, or you can say from in the calling part it will take name and age, and after that it will just print name and age. So whenever I have to call this function, I have to write the function name. After that, after that, earlier what we are doing is we have to give the we have to give the name and age in the same order. So this is what we are doing earlier. So we give the name in place of name, and we give the age in place of age. We give it in the respective orders. So we do not, we have, sorry, so we have to maintain the sequence of the parameters. So whenever we write without mentioning the name of the parameter, we have to maintain the order. So if I run this, so it runs in a perfect order. We printed name first, so we are getting name first, and after that we are getting age. So this order is correct. But what if I do here, I give 20 here and I give name here, sorry, and I give name here. So what will happen now? It will change the order. So what is happening? The value 20 is assigned to name. The value Alice is assigned to age. Now, whenever we print name, 20 will be printed, and whenever we print age, Alice will be printed. So this will happen. It will reverse the order. So to tackle this, if you want that you should give the arguments in whatever order you want, so what you can do is you can mention the parameter name first, after that put equals to, give the value, then comma, again the parameter name, then equals to, and then give the value. So when you run this, it will run in the correct order. So the value Rahul will be assigned to the variable, the parameter name only, and the value 20 will be assigned to the variable age only. So in whatever order you want to write, you can write. So you do not need to be specific with the parameters. You can write it in your own order. So this is known as keyword arguments. So whenever you are not sure and you don't want to check what the order of parameters is, so you can simply write the parameter name and then the value, comma, parameter name equals to then the value. So this is known as keyword arguments. The next thing which we are having is variable length arguments. Sometimes we don't know how many values users will pass. So to tackle that problem, what we can do is we can create a function like this. So what is happening? We have created a function with the function name add. After that, we have written one parameter here, but before the parameter, we had added a star here. So this means we don't know the number of arguments that the user will pass. So user can pass as many as arguments in this case. So let's run this and just see what is happening. I'll comment it out. Just print over here, paste over here, and see. So what is happening? We can we can so what is happening? We have created a function with the function name add, and after that we have given a parameter numbers, and before the numbers we just added a star. So what the difference this star makes is you can write as many as arguments as you want. Just put comma, keep on writing as many as you want. And when you run, it will not give any error. You can give one argument, you can give 100 arguments, that's on you, but it will not create any error. So it is stored in the form of tuple. So what is tuple we will see in the upcoming lectures. But for now, you can understand that by adding star before a parameter name in the function creation, you can add as many as arguments in the calling. So this is what args means. This is called args. So this is one another program, another example of the when of the args. This is one another example of the args. So here what we are doing, we are having a variable total is equal to 0. For num in numbers, total plus is equal to num, return total. So what we are doing, we are just creating a function to add anonymous number of numbers. Okay, what does this mean? So here we want to add as many as numbers the user will put in the calling, and that numbers will be called, and the variable total will be returned. So how it is running, let us understand. I will copy it, come to BS code, I will paste it here, and I will call it. I will call like this. After that, print result. Okay, so we got the result as 100. So how it is running? So we are creating a function with anonymous number of arguments. We don't know the number of arguments, so we just write star here. After that, we create a variable with 0. and then we are writing a loop. I hope you understood what is a loop and how it is running. Now here we are in a loop for num in number. So as I have said, numbers is now a tuple. It is not a normal variable, it is a tuple. What is tuple? We will see in the next lecture. But for now, just understand that it is a sequence of numbers. So the num will iterate over every number that is present inside numbers. And now in the loop, what is happening? In the total, we are adding num. Total plus is equal to num means total is equal to total plus num. So the num will take every value from the numbers one by one and it will add to the total. And after that, after the iterations are over, it will return the total. The function returns the total. Whatever the value will be there of the total, it will return at the end. So this is what this function is doing. And so now I'm calling this function. So I'm calling this function add and I'm giving 10, 20, 30 and 40. So these are the sequence of values. So what will happen here? Num will take firstly 10. It will add total. What is the value of total? It is 0. 10 will be added to 0. So the total value will become 10. After that, the num variable will take 20 as the value. It will add 20 to the total. What is the current value of total? It is 10. So it will make it 30. After that, 30 will be added to 30. It will be 60. Then 60 will be added to 40. So what is the end result? We got total as the 100. So current value of total is 100. So when you write this, when you call this function, it will return 100. So that 100 value will be stored into the variable result. And when you print result, 100 will be printed. So this is the execution, how this code is executing. The next thing which we are having is variable scope. So what does variable scope means? So the next thing which we are having is variable scoping in Python. So firstly, what does the scope mean? Scope means the scope of a variable simply means that the region or area of program where the variable can be accessed or used. Scope means the area or the region of the program where we can access, we can use the variable. So this is known as the scope of a variable. In other words, but we can say that scope answers the question, where can I use this variable in my program? So the answer of this thing is scope. So if a variable is accessible in a particular part, so if the variable is accessible in a particular part of the program, then it is said to be in a scope there. If it cannot be accessed, then it is out of scope. So this is what scoping is. So we generally we have two most common used types of scopes. So the two most commonly used scopes are global scopes and local scope. We are having global scope, we are having local scope. So what does global scope means? Global scope means a variable that is created outside of all functions is called as global scope or global variable. So what is global scope? A variable that is created outside of all functions is called a global variable. So if you have a variable, let's say we are having one example here, we are having example course is equal to Python programming. And we are having a function here that display print course. So what you are doing? You have created a variable outside the functions. You have not created inside the function, you have created the variable outside the function. So whenever you call, wherever you call, it is accessible. It is globally scoped. Globally means you can access it anywhere inside the function, outside the function, wherever you want, you can access it. But inside the function, you can't change the value of this. We will see how you can do that, but for now, just understand that you can access this variable wherever you want. So we have written the function here, we have called the variable, we want to access the value of the variable course. So the value is Python programming. Then after that we have called the variable and again we have written. So in both the statements, it will execute, it will not give any error because it is globally scoped. Why? Because we have created the variable outside the functions. We have not created it inside. So the function is created outside. So the function is created outside. So that's why the output will be for both the things. The output will be same here. So explanation is given over here. The variable course is created outside the function because it belongs to global scope. Function display can access it and we can also use it outside the function. That's why it is called global variable. So now next thing is local scope. So what does local scope means? A variable that is created inside a function is called a local variable. If it exists only while the function is running and cannot be accessed outside the function. So what does local scope means? We understand with the help of this example over here. We are having the example. We have function over here def display message is equal to welcome to Python. So we are having a variable which is storing a string over here and we are just printing it and we are calling the function. So up till here, when we call the function, this statement will execute. This statement will execute message. The message will be printed. Welcome to Python. But whenever the in whenever outside the function, we try to access the variable message. This is the variable message, and whenever we try to access this, it will give error. Why error? Because the message is not defined. Why not defined? We have defined it here, but it is defined inside a function. It is created inside a function. So the scope of the variable is local, local to that function. You can change, you can edit, you can call this variable inside this function only. But whenever you come outside the function and call it, it will always give an error. So the local scope means you can access this variable, the variable that is created inside a function, you can access it inside that function only. You can access, you can call it inside that function only. So this is the meaning of local scope. So the explanation is also given here. The variable message is created inside the function, so it belongs to that function. It can be used inside display, but once the function finishes executing, the variable is no longer accessible outside. It is called local scope. So I hope you understand the difference between global scope and local scope. We are having another example over here. So what is happening here? We have created a variable name with the value alias. After that, we have created a function greet. City is equal to New York. City is equal to New York. So we have created another variable inside the function greet and we have given the value New York. So when we come outside the function, we print name and after that we try to print the city and after that we are calling the function. And again we are printing name and city. Sorry, this statement is inside this function only. So from here to here, this is inside the function. So inside the function, we are calling the variable name, which is outside, which is globally created. And we are calling the variable name, sorry, we are calling the variable city to print. So which is locally created and we can call it here. This is also safe to execute. This is also safe to execute. So up till here, there is no problem in the code. And when we call the function, it will just print name and city. So it will execute up till here. But after that, we are calling print name. We are calling name. Name is a globally created variable which we can access it anywhere inside the functions as well as outside the function. So this line will also execute, but we get error at this line. We will get the error at this line. Why error? Because we are calling a variable that is created inside a function. So the variable is created inside the function. It will give the error city is not defined. Name error we will get. So what is the meaning of that? Name is global variable, city is local variable. You can access the global variable anywhere in the code, but you can access the local variable only in the function that in which it is created. So this is the difference between local and global variable. So this is the important. So this is very important concept from the function's point of view. So you have to be clear with the difference between what is global variable and what is local variable, what is global scope, what is local scope. So now we are left with two topics for today. The first one is lambda functions. So what are lambda functions? Lambda function means anonymous functions. Anonymous function means you don't have to define, you don't have to define the function, you can simply call it in the creation part only. So we are having one example here. We are having a variable square, and after that we are writing lambda, then variable name, and after that we are writing just the logic. Whenever the logic is small, you can simply write like this. So what does this mean? I will copy this, go to VS Code. I will comment out the earlier code. After that, I will paste this out. And now this is our function name. In the lambda function, this is our function name, and this is the creation of the function. So we don't have to write def here. In this case, we will write lambda. After that, we will write the variable name, the parameter, after that the result which we want to return. So here what we are doing, we are having one parameter x, after that we are returning x multiply x. It means we are doing square of a number. So when we have to call the function, what we will do, we will simply write. Now we want to print the square. We want to print a square of the number. Let's say the number is 5. So we want to print square. What square function will do? It will simply multiply it with itself. So when I return, I will get 25 as the output. So this is the meaning of anonymous function. Anonymous function or lambda function means to. So anonymous function or lambda function means whenever we are having a simple logic, a small logic, we can write it in this form. So in this case, we don't have to create a function by writing def square, then parenthesis, then inside that a variable name, and after that we have to write a return x multiply x or whatever the parameter name will be there. So to avoid that lengthy part, you can simply write the variable name, after that lambda, then parameter, then colon, then the return value. So this is the simple use of lambda function, or you can say anonymous function. So we are having output 25. We are having another example of lambda function in which we are having two parameters a comma b, and we are just adding that. So this is the simple use case that these are short, lambda functions are short, simple, and one line. So this provide the more readability of the code, reduce the lengthy parts. The next topic which we are having is recursion. So what does recursion basically means? Recursion means function calling itself. The function which calls itself is known as recursion. So if you want to do a task, repetitive task or iterative task, you have to use loops. But if you don't want to use loops, you can simply use recursion. Recursion means a function will call itself until a specific condition is met. So to write a recursive function, you need two things: a base condition where it should stop, and the logic. So simply you need two conditions. Here we are having one example here. So base condition, or you can say base case, you need a recursive call or the logic of the function, or you can say the recursive function. Okay, so I will simply copy this code. I will copy it, move to VS Code, will comment out the, or I can say, I can create a new file, name it as recursion.py. I will paste it here. So I will run this code. What I am getting? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am getting the counting from 5 to 1 in a reverse order. So what is happening here? We are having a base condition over here. After that, we are having the recursive logic of the function. And after that, we are calling the function. So what we are doing? So what we are doing nothing, but this is the base condition first of all. And after that, this is the recursive call of the function. So what does base condition do? The role of base condition is to check the condition. We will specify a condition here when it will stop. Whenever this value is met, it will stop. Return means to get out of the function to stop. So whenever this condition is true, this will the the compiler will enter inside this statement. It will return. Return means to get out of this function. So this is the simple meaning of base condition. Base condition is used to stop a recursive function. So if there is no if there is no base condition, what will happen? The function will call itself again and again, and it will go into an infinite loop. Like we have seen in case of infinite, so like we have seen in case of loops that if we don't give a condition to stop, it will go into infinite. So to avoid that, we have to specify a base condition. After that, whatever the logic we want. So we have written a countdown function here. Countdown means to go in order of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like this is the countdown. So we are creating a function with the function name countdown. After that, we are having one parameter over here that is n. So we are having a base condition here that I have explained that it is used to stop the function. After that, we are printing n. We are printing n. So whatever the value we will enter here, that value will be printed first, and after that, what we are doing? We are calling the function with the same name. Whatever the name is here in the creation part, we have written over here, and after that, we are giving a value n minus 1. N minus 1 means we will dry run this code, don't worry. If you are not understanding the, just see what is happening. N minus 1 means, let us assume the value of n is 5 over here. So value of n is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So in the countdown, we are giving the value 4 here. So just ignore this line. Just see this part now. Now we have given the value 4 over here. So 4 will come over here. So here it will come 4. And after that, is n equal to 0? 4 equal to 0? That is not, that is false. So it will print 4 also. After that, it will go here. Now what is n? N is 4. 4 minus 1 means 3. So now instead of 4, we are having 3 over here. Now see, 3 double equal to 0, that is false. It will print 3. So how it is going? So we have printed 5, we have printed 4, now we are printing 3. After that, again the function is called. Now, instead of 3, what we will have here? 3 minus 1 will be 2. So we will have 2 over here. So instead of 3, we will have 2. So 2 will go inside this. Is 2 equal to 0? That is false. It will print 2 as well. And after that, 2 minus 1 will be 1. So 1 will go here. Again, 1 will go here. And after that, it will check n equal to 0. 1 equal to 0. That is false. It will print 1 over here. So after printing 1, what will happen? Now 1 minus 1 will be 0. It will be 0. Now 0 will enter here. Now 0 will enter over here. Now 0 equal to 0. This condition is true now. This condition is true. So it will enter into this and it will return. Return means to get out of the functions. If you don't write any return value here, simply write return. So return means to get out of the function. So it will get out and our program will stop. So this is our output. So that's why we got here 5 4 3 2 1 as the output. So now we are having some examples, some practical examples given here. The first one is area calculator. So this is a simple one, just a function is created with the name area and we have passed two parameters length and breadth over here and we are returning the parameter, sorry, we are returning the area by multiplying length and breadth. Simple mathematical calculations. After that, this is a function to calculate simple interest. Just logic is changed, parameters are changed, and simple creation of function. Same way Celsius to Fahrenheit. Just you need to write the logic. The other syntax remains the same. And the next one is even odd checker. You can explore these largest number. Now, coming to the common beginner mistakes. So, what are the mistakes which most of the beginners do is forgetting to call the function. The most of the beginners create the function but forgot to call it. So calling is necessary for the executing of the functions. So if the function is not called, it will not execute. So it is the most it is the most done mistake in the starting. So the second one is confusing with print and return. So you should understand what is print and what is return used for. The next mistake is wrong number of arguments. Add 10. Missing argument. So if you are adding two numbers, you should give two arguments, but here it is given one argument. So in that case, missing argument or error will come. So you should know how many parameters and there and how many arguments you are giving. So it should match. Otherwise, you should use anonymous arguments, the args method, which I have teach you earlier. So the next mistake which we are discussing in every lecture, that is wrong indentation, and the next one is using global variables unnecessarily. So you should avoid these mistakes. Now we are having one mini project over here, calculator using functions. So we have to create a program in which we have to create different functions like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and we need to make a menu for one for addition, two for subtraction, three for multiplication, and four for division. So let us try to create this. In the VS Code, I will create a new file as calci.py, and here firstly I will kill the terminal over here. After that, now we have to create a menu driven program to use it as a calculator. So let's start by creating different functions. So the first function we are having is to add two numbers. So what we will do, we will name it as addition. Then in brackets I will write it a comma b. We will keep it simple. And so let me turn off the net so that the auto suggestions should not come. So we will not get disturbed while typing. So I will create a function with the function name addition. I will pass two arguments over here, a comma b. And after that, inside that function, I will just return a plus b. So this is a simple function to add two numbers. Same way, I will create a function subtraction, and inside that I will again pass a comma b, two variables, two parameters, and again I will return a minus b. These are simple functions, very simple functions that we are using now. So the next function is for multiplication, and we will pass two variables again here, and after that we will return a multiply b. So after that we will create another function def division, and we will pass two parameters again, and we will return a divided by b. So we have created all the functions. We have created all the functions over here. Now what we need to do? We need to take input from the user. We need three inputs for this program. Why? Because firstly we need the first variable and a second variable value. And after that we need a choice. Choice means we are writing a menu driven program. Menu driven program means the user do the user do calculations according to its own choice. If the user want to perform addition, it will enter, let's say, 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division. The user enters 1, addition should be performed. If the user enters 4, division should be performed. Likewise, we need a variable. I will say that choice, and I will name it as ch. So firstly, I will take input of a. I will say a. I will convert this into int, and then take the input. I will say enter the first number. Enter the first number. Okay, and after that, I will do same for the variable b, and I will say here enter the second number, and here I will change a to b. So this is a simple code to take two inputs. After that, I will create a variable ch and take the input, and I will say here enter 1 for addition, okay, 2 for subtraction, subtraction, 3 for multiplication, after that, and 4 for division. So I have written over here, and what I will do next is I have created all the functions, I have taken all the inputs. After that, I will use switch case. I will say switch ch, sorry. After that, I will do match ch, and I will create case 1. So when case is 1, we need to call the function addition. So I will call addition and give it the variables a comma b. So one more thing which I can do is I have returned here. So I have returned, so I can use print over here. So I will print, and I will say result, like this I will print. So whenever the user enters the choice as 1, we will perform addition and print the result as this in this format. Now I will just select this all. I will do Alt plus Shift. I will press these keys and press the down arrow 3 times. Now I will just change here 2, 3, and 4. And here I will just do subtraction. Here, no, I will ignore this. Here multiplication, multiplication, and here division. So after doing this, let's run this code. So now I will run this program and see, let's see what is happening. So it is asking to enter the first number. So I will give the first number as, let's say I give it 20. I press enter. It is asking the second number. I will say I will give it 10. Now it is asking enter 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, and 4 for division. I will enter 1 for addition. So when I enter 1, the result came to be 30. 20 plus 10 is 30. So our program is working fine. We have written everything fine. One thing I can change is I can put colon here, give a space for the better. better readability. So we have successfully created whatever it is written here. So we are done with the meaning project as well. So with this, so in this way you can create as many as programs you want. You can practice these also. Try doing this, and you can ask ChatGPT to give you the problems which you can try solving at your own. And after that, you can see the solutions from there as well. So this is our lecture summary. Today we have learned what are functions, how to create functions, how to call functions, what are parameters, arguments, how to return values, what are default arguments, what are keyword arguments, what is local and global scope, what is lambda function, and what is recursion. And we have done some practical examples as well. So I conclude my today's lecture here. So in the next lecture, we will learn about tuples, sets, and dictionaries. Thank you.